everyone, and welcome to my live. I must first say that I am sorry that I'm late. I've been having some technical issues, social media, technology, it acts up sometimes, but I am happy that I am able to still make it and to share with you some valuable insights tonight. As you can recall, I have been running a live series on entrepreneurship, and tonight is the fourth episode in this series. So I am extremely happy to join you tonight and to share some more insights with you. So if you're new to my page, this series is about entrepreneurship, and we started 4 weeks ago, so this is the fourth episode. So I will be doing a quick recap at the beginning. So if you missed the first 3 episodes, grab your notebook so you can catch up. Hi, Success. I am Success. Hi, welcome to my live. And yes, thank you for joining us. Grab your notebook. You'll be learning a lot today. If you're interested in becoming an entrepreneur, I shall be sharing some insights with you on how to get started and how to avoid making the mistakes as a beginner, and maybe even how to skip ahead. So I will be giving some more people some more opportunities to join, and then I'll begin in a few minutes. As I was sharing before with you, I started this series about, exactly 4 weeks ago. So this is the fourth episode, and I'm pretty much just sharing information with you on how you can start your own business, become an entrepreneur. And I share insights on how to cut through the doubt, on how to choose the right model, and how to ensure that when you start, you are doing something that will be profitable, right? So, hi Marva, welcome. So I will be recapping the first 3 episodes. So grab your notebook because this is class. Yes. I am each week builds upon the previous week. So whatever you learned in week 1 to 3, I'll be building on that tonight, because at the end of this series, which is a 14-part series, hopefully you'll have the tools necessary to start your own business, whether it be online or physical. I should say that I am not here to sell you anything. I'm just here to teach you and to help you to reach your highest self. And for my Jamaican viewers, if you're not Jamaican, you may not understand what I'm about to say. But if you're Jamaican, I just want to say welcome, big up yourself. I appreciate the love, and you've always been supportive to me, and I will never forget that. So I appreciate you, and I have to keep it real, because no matter what, we are all from the same cloth. Yes, I'm Jamaican. I don't live in Jamaica, but yeah, I'm still Jamaican. So what a guan? How is life in Jamdon? Drop some comments. Tell me how you guys are doing. All right. Without further ado, because I do respect your time, because time is important and it's something you can never get back, I will start. So tonight, the title of tonight's presentation is validation. But before I get into that, as I promised, I will be recapping the first 3 episodes. So episode 1, it basically defined entrepreneurship, and it talks about entrepreneurship from the first principles. It talks about entrepreneurship as value creation under uncertainty. So it is you taking a leap of faith, basically stepping out into your purpose, not being sure of where it's going to lead, but knowing that you're doing this because you feel like it's your calling, or because you want to solve a problem that you see others are having in the world. And the work is to discover opportunity, evaluate it, and then execute consistently. So that is what entrepreneurship is. Please go ahead and share the live if you want others to benefit, and just tell them, share it with your friends on your page, and like it so that others can know what is happening and come join us. Also, what separates entrepreneurs from just dabblers is execution, right? How you execute, how you go about sharing what you're doing and putting your plan into action is what separates you from a successful entrepreneur from one who is not, right? So that was episode 1 basically. And in episode 1, I gave homework. Yes, I give homework every night. And the homework was to define your purpose statement. So, for example, you write down what problem you're solving on and who you're solving it for. So, for example, my example was, my purpose statement is, I, Tamar, help parents of children on this with special needs to build their own business and to earn additional income, so they do not have to choose between their child and their job, or between their child and earning a living. So that's my purpose statement. Your purpose statement will be different based on what you're working on, what problem you want to solve. So that was episode 1. Episode 2 talked about pain first entrepreneurship, and what that really means is that, and the tagline for that was that your idea is not the point, the customer's pain is the point. Because at the end of the day, it's not about you or me, it's about what people are feeling, what they're willing to pay money for to get done, right? So the filter that was used, or the 4 points that was shared in that episode, was a filter. So it talks about identifying the pain, making sure there's proof, and position yourself, and then you choose a path. And to explain a little bit more, you have to identify a pain that is recurring, it's happening over and over, and it's costing people not just money, but it's costing them time, it's costing them money, and it's costing them peace, right? So if you identify a pain point like that, then you've identified something that you can solve, and it can become your business, right? Once you identify a pain, then you identify proof. So you're going to do your research, right? Are there others doing this? Are people already paying money to solve this problem? Because if they're paying somebody else, they will pay you too, right? Because there are so many ideas out there, and there are different people doing the same things, and there are different people being successful doing the same things. So one of the things that I shared is that you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. Once you identify a pain point, and people are already paying money to solve that pain, or to have that pain go away, then all you have to do is find a different way, or a better way, or an easier way to solve that problem. And right there, you have a job, you have a business. Sorry. Position is your outcome. How do you sell, for example, your idea to other people? How do you tell them that you're going to solve their problem? Because that is very important. Because if I have a problem, and you come to me and say, oh, I can solve your problem, but you're not able to tell me how you're going to solve my problem, then I'm not going to have any interest in what you're selling or what you're saying, because you don't know how you're going to do what you say you're going to do. So outcome language is important, and that's your positioning. Your path is taking simple steps, ideally 7 to 30 days. So if you're just starting, right, then you want to be able to show proof that you can do what you say you're going to do. So the quicker, the better, because we all know we're living in a very fast world. We don't want or have time to wait for anything. So anything that we want done, we want it done now, right? And if you agree with me, you can drop a comment in the comment section. We don't have time to stick around to wait on somebody who says they're going to solve your problem to figure it out. They should have already had a plan. So when they come to say they're going to solve your problem, they should be able to solve your problem without you having to wait. So ideally, your path should be simple, and you should be able to execute it within 7 to 30 days. So that was episode 2. And episode 2, the homework for that one was for you to identify a pain point. So if you're looking to start a business, what's the business you're going to start? Why are you starting that business? Do you see that people are suffering with something and you're wanting to solve that problem for them, right? Then episode 3 was choosing your model, right? And we talked about choosing the right model for you based on what you want to, the type of business you want to start, and what you want to achieve from that business. And there are the three most common models are solopreneur, creator-led, and a startup, right? A solopreneur it's based on quick wins because it's based on speed and it has a low overhead. So it's basically you are the business, right? So if you're starting a business and it's just you're considered a solopreneur. It's usually fast, and the startup cost is usually low, and most times it's a service, right? Creator-led, it wins with consistency and trust. And creator-led it's mostly online, because you're going to be online telling people about what you're doing, solving their problems without basically being there. So you pretty much have to be comfortable being on camera and creating content consistently, right? And then the startup has high uncertainty and with a longer runway, which means that you have to wait longer to get your results. And it's usually, it can be costly because you're going to have to put money into it, put effort into it, and you're going to have to wait some time before you actually see the results. So based on what you're doing or want to do, it depends. It dictates which one of these you pick, right? So once you have a real pain and you've chosen the right model for you, the next step is validation, and that is where tonight's topic come into play, because validation is how you stop guessing, right? So if you don't validate, you're gambling with your time, right? So what does that really mean? Validation pretty much means that you're turning opinions into facts, right? So because facts live outside of your head, you don't know what you don't know until you find out about it, right? So pretty much validation is talking to real people, testing a clear offer, and tracking responses and patterns. So once you identify the pain and you choose your model, you're going to come up with an offer, right? It's not asking your friends who are not going to be honest with you. And it's not pulling from opinions only or building logos and websites first. So you're going to come up with an offer and you're going to test it, right? Put it out there. See what feedback you get, right? Talk to real people that are experiencing what you are trying to solve. So whatever, if you are trying to start a website building company, for example, what are the things that people look for in a good website? How much are they willing to pay for a good website, right? Track patterns and responses. Do your research. AI is very big these days, and it gives you quick results. Just a disclaimer, it's not always 100% correct. So whatever you put in AI or you get out of AI, make sure you validate it with credible sources, right? But it's just a quick way to do research, and then whatever information you get from ChatGPT, Gemini, whichever one you choose to use, you can then go to the original sources and find out if what the information is giving you is true. So So if you're trying to build websites, for example, then you go and, depending on what country you're in, you go and you research who else is doing it, how are they doing, what's the response they're getting, because most times this information is public and you can have access to it. So that's validation, to start with, right? So when you're talking to your customers, right, you're going to ask about the last time the problem happened, because remember, you're talking to real people now. People are experiencing what you are trying to solve. You're going to ask what they've tried and why it failed. And you're going to ask what it's cost them. What is it costing them? Is it time? Is it money? Is it stress? Is it all three? And then you're going to listen for the exact words and repeat the phrases, because people will tell you exactly what they're experiencing. And then if you just listen, it's straightforward after that, right? You just have to listen. You don't really have, as I said before, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. People will tell you exactly what they want, and once you listen, then you will have what you need to build your business, right? And as I said before, validation is not asking friends if they like your idea, because to be honest, most of our friends will just tell us what we want to hear. And you don't want that. You want honesty. So if I come and I tell you my plan, okay, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z, what do you think? As my friend, I'm hoping my real friends would tell me, Tamara, I don't think that would work. But most people, or most of our friends, are afraid of hurting our feelings, so they will just sugarcoat it for us, right? So compliments are not data, right? So it is important that you don't just look for the good, look for the bad feedback, or the negative feedback, because most times that is what you need to build. If you're, hi TJ, welcome to my life. If you are just looking for the good comments or the good feedback, you will never grow. Because if everybody's just there telling you how great you are, then you're already great. So what do you need to improve, right? Negative feedback comes to help to push you to grow. And I know most of us, we are uncomfortable with negative feedback. We don't want anybody to tell us we are not the greatest thing in the world, right? But in truth and in fact, we are not the greatest thing in the world, right? So we want to be able to take negative or constructive feedback and use it to build ourselves and whatever business it is we're trying to start. So don't just go to your friends, right? If you have been building for months but avoiding conversations, you are not building a business, you're building comfort, right? And comfort does not earn money. You have to take uncomfortable action. My mentor and Tony Robbins, most of you would have heard of him. He is a life strategist. He has helped millions across the world to change their way of thinking, change their lives. And is one of his most common phrases is that you have to be willing to take uncomfortable action. And taking uncomfortable action means that you are willing to take feedback from people that is not always nice or positive, right? Right. So the fastest way to validate your conversations is to, it's not brainstorming, it's not overthinking. It is basically you and you don't need a huge audience. You need a small sample of real human beings, right? There are different ways of getting feedback, right? These days, you can do a poll, you can do just a post and ask for people's ideas or their input on whatever it is you're trying to sell or to develop, People are very responsive, especially on social media these days. You ask for their opinion, they will give it to you. As I said before, it might not be what you want to hear, but most times what they say has some potential to help you grow, right? So you're going to ask questions like, when did this problem last happen? As I said before, what have you tried? Why did it not work? What does it cost you? Time, energy, money, stress? If it was solved, what would change for you, right? So these are all problems, questions that you want to ask, and you want to listen intently and take notes. If you're not doing it in a written format, like through a post or a poll or whatever, record the conversations, take notes, whatever it is, because you want to have the data to go back to so that you can build with confidence. You can build with validity, knowing that what you're putting out there will succeed, right? So let me ask you something. What is the biggest for you right now? And drop it in the comment. Is it time, money, or stress? What is your biggest concern right now? What is the biggest problem that you want solved? So if somebody was starting a business and they say, oh, I can solve this problem for you, what would that problem be? Drop it in the comments and let me hear what you have to say, right? MVP, the most valuable point tonight is maximum learning, minimum effort, right? If you are building a business, you have to take the time to learn your audience, learn what it is that you will be doing so that you can confidently present it, right? Because you go out there and somebody asks it, what is it you do? And you can't explain it. Then they'll lose interest and they'll move on to the next person. It means that the smallest version that delivers the result. So, for example, a simple checklist, a 7-day plan, a 1-page guide, a short service sprint with clear steps. Depending on what you are trying to do, simple is usually better, right? Do not build a mansion to test if someone wants a tent. That's just an analogy, right? So start small, see what people respond to, what they're willing to pay for whatever it is that you are offering, and then you move from there, right? People waste time building a brand without validating the offer first. So they sit around or they go about and they build this whole thing that they think is going to change the world, but they didn't take the time first to research and to prove the idea, whether or not people are really interested in this big thing that they are creating that's going to change the world. And this is where people waste the most time. They build branding before proof. That is the wrong order of things. You need to build proof before you build the brand. So you have an idea? All right. Just throw it out there in the universe. Throw it out there on social media. Ask people about it. How much would you pay for this? Is this something that's bothering you? All of these things. Gather the data while you're working on other things. Gather the data to make sure that you are actually building something that's worthwhile and you're not just wasting your time, right? Order matters. So first, offer. What result do you deliver, right? Who is it for and why now, right? And then simple path. How does it work? And brand later, name, logo, website, all of that can come after that. Because once you have the offer, you have identified who it is for, which is your target audience. and you've discovered how you're going to go about delivering it to this target audience. You have a business model right there, and then you can go ahead and brand it, call it whatever you want, build your logo, build your website, set up your social media pages, because all of those things are important when you're starting a business, because visibility is key. If nobody knows about you, then, and you have the greatest thing on earth, if nobody knows about it, then it's a failure, right? So I'm not saying don't build your brand, but make sure that the brand that you're building is something that people are interested in and willing to pay for, so that you don't waste your time, right? Proof pays for polish. So basically that means if you have already proven that this idea will work, it will pay for the branding, it will pay for the marketing, it will pay for everything else, because people are not there for the packaging. They're there because you're giving them something that will solve their problem, right? So people don't care so much about the branding. If I want a problem solved, I don't care if you have a fancy website. You're solving my problem. I'm happy, right? And once you're solving people's problem, then you can start going and doing all the fancy websites and having the fancy logo and the marketing campaign and all of that, because you've already validated that this business is working, right? So offer first, brand later. Here's a self-honesty test. If I gave you the DM script, could you do 10 messages this week? This is not about being pushy. It's about being willing to collect data, right? If your answer is no, that is information. We design around your constraint, right? So if the answer is yes, that is power. And because the market rewards reps. So if you're willing to do something repeatedly, people will pay attention and it will reward you. A business is built in conversation, not in Canva. So you can go and you can build all those fancy posts and all those carousels and posters, and you can have them everywhere. And if people are not talking to you, if you're not attracting people that are interested in what you're advertising, then the business will not grow, right? You can have 1 million followers, but if nobody's interested in what you are selling or what you're offering, then it's not a business, it's a following. You just have a following, right? So here's what we are going to do. And as I said before, I give homework, right? 1 second. Before we go into the homework, when you do your, when you're collecting your data, so for example, you do a poll, you put up a post on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, whichever one you use, and people respond. Based on what the questions you ask, how many people said, yes, this is for me? What are the top 3 phrases that they used? What are the top objectives? Is it time, money, trust, confusion? What is it that they are out there looking for? And what are they using instead right now? And based on those information, then you will be able to move forward with your business. So for your homework, I want you to have 10 conversations, right, with people in your niche. And what your niche is your market, your target audience. Have 10 conversations with people that are experiencing the thing that you're trying to solve. So if you are trying to say wash cars, start a car wash business, talk to 10 motor vehicle owners. What do they want in a car wash service? What are they are they willing to pay for it? what are they using in the meantime, right? Track the responses in a simple note or spreadsheet. And if you're not techie, write it down. Open the notes app on your phone and just type it out. Whatever it is, collect the data, right? Look for repeated pains, repeated objections, repeated language, right? And then you decide by refining your message, refining your offer, or change your audience, right? So when you collect your data, you don't think what is the data that you're getting is conducive or it is supporting your plan. Hi, Simonique, welcome to my live. Yes, if you don't think it is supporting your vision or your business idea, then change it, right? Or change your audience and then move on from there. So that is pretty much it for tonight on the entrepreneurship series. And I really thank you for your attention and thank you for showing up tonight and for showing me love and for keeping me company. But I've been doing this series now for 4 weeks and I haven't really told you what I do, right? You do not have to start from scratch. I'm telling you about how you can start being an entrepreneur, but you do not have to start from scratch. There are systems out there that will take the legwork out of it, right? They would have already selected the product, right? And they already built the system. All you have to do is plug into it. So you're pretty much running with the idea. And that is what I do. I have a system, right? We have already selected the products, high ticket items. There are almost 300,000 people in my community that are already doing this business and doing great at it. Yes, it is not saturated at all, right? And there is a system in place already. You don't have to be techie. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to be speaky spooky. Yes, you can talk Patois if Patois is your language. Yes, man, we talk Patois too. Yeah, but you don't need all the skills of, going to an office job or anything like that. You can start as a beginner. You don't need a degree or anything. The system is there, right? And if you're interested in learning what I do, just check out the link in my bio and you will see what I do. And all you have to do is enter your name and your email and you get to watch the webinar that tells you all about it. And as I said, it cuts the legwork out of it. It is a proven system. It reduces the guessing and accelerates the learning. It gives you step-by-step path, templates, and support. You will still do the work, but you stop reinventing the wheel. And you choose a system that is ethical, it's clear, and it's built for consistency, right? The shortcut is structure, not luck. So it's not something that is, as I said, there are almost 300,000 people all over the world in the community. So it is proven. It's not something that just popped up last night. It's something that's been around for almost 10 years now, or over 10 years actually. The business itself that we work with has been around for 50 years, right? So it is proven to work. Step-by-step training, you get your own website, you get a coach, you get a mentor, you get live Zooms, contact with the community via WhatsApp. It's all there. It tells you exactly what you need to do when you need to do it to be successful. So it takes the guesswork out of it. So you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. So if you're interested in what I'm doing, go check out the link in my bio, send me a DM, and I will walk you through it. And before I go, I just want to take the time to thank you guys once more for being here with me tonight. And be sure to join me next week for episode 5 in the series. I usually start at 7. I was late tonight because I was having some technical issues, but I will be back here next week at 7 p.m. And thank you to all of those who followed me tonight. I really appreciate you. And just stay tuned for more because I'm constantly posting educational content on my page, and share it with your friends and let us all grow together because there is enough out there for all of us. The pie is not too small. There's a slice for you and there's a slice for me. And if you want it badly enough, you will achieve it, right? So big up on yourself and God bless. And I'll see you all next week. Have a blessed night. Good night.